So freaking exciting.
This is the second string. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, I'm super excited too. Give it some time for people to mosey their way on in here.
How was your day?
Anna, how was your day?
Oh yeah, I just asked you that. Pretty good. I feel like it was really chill, just like chores and things. So
Nice.
nothing fun. I filmed a video and I'm pretty ahead, honestly. I have 2 videos down for the next 2 weeks. So happy about that.
Love that.
How about you?
My day was good. I also filmed a video. We're on our YouTube grind.
Yeah.
And went to the farmer's market. Super cute. I see we have a few people traipsing in. Welcome.
I love a light. So I'm just gonna turn on a light real quick.
Go for it. I have a little iced lavender latte. Does anyone else have a drink with them? If so, let us know what you got.
I just have water. I always have water. And the thing is, I have hot cocoa and stuff, but like I feel like honestly, I'm refraining from drinking anything besides water because I can totally see myself talk and it just drip on my like clothes. Like I feel like I'm that type of person. So
that's funny. I'm dead.
Hate that for me.
Oh my God, that's funny. Feel free to introduce yourselves or say hi when you join in the chat, because this is going to be very chatty vibes, like very casual, very cozy vibes. We're literally just going to be talking and hanging out.
Oh, can I see your blanket? This is mine.
Oh, yes. I have a pen.
Love that.
Hi, Madison. Welcome into the stream. Oh my God, she has an iced matcha. I love that for you, and I feel that it was hella hot in California today.
Honestly, same. In Florida right now, I think we began the day at like 81 degrees. So it's not giving fall, but
it's not giving winter.
Oh yeah,
winter.
Dang, not me, not seasons.
That's so funny. We love a matcha. I am out of matcha powder, and it's been really hard for me.
Bro, I need to get on this matcha. I feel like I have tried it once when I was like one time. I think my sister years ago, I tried some of hers. I think they like made it wrong. So I don't even know if I truly know what matcha tastes like, because that just tastes like bitter grass. Like it didn't even taste like it had type of milk or anything. So,
you gotta give it another shot. No bitter grass in this house.
Whenever I do, I'm gonna text you, and I want to know how you get it ordered. And I think we talked about this, and you said you like Dunkin' better than Starbucks, or
yes, if you go for Starbucks, you should add peppermint. But I do not discriminate. I love every matcha that I've ever had. So
okay. I don't know anything about matcha, so gotta give myself
an education.
Try to see how that works.
Welcome, and seeing more people are joining. So exciting. The topics of this conversation are very much kind of up to you guys. Like, we can talk about anything that's on your brain. And if you have like advice questions or things you've been thinking about lately, feel free to bring them up. But we're going to have like just some topics in mind that we'll start off with. And then like you guys direct the conversation, whatever you want to talk about. If you have questions or topics, feel free to drop them in the chat in real time.
Yeah, it's like a literal real chat girl talk. And I'm super excited about this because I feel like whenever I see people's comments in my comment section, like I can respond. Oh, hi, Esther. How are you doing?
Yeah, welcome.
Anytime I see their comments, and like we can write paragraphs to each other, but there's nothing like actually responding in real time. So I'm super excited about this.
Yeah.
And I guess to start off,
hello.
Hi.
I don't think you've been in the streams before.
I've seen her in my comment section. Can you tell us your name? How are you doing? Love to see new faces though. This is super exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. So yeah, do you want to start us off?
Yes, I do, because I think one of the first topics that would be fun to talk about is life in our 20s, which is a very broad topic, and like we can talk about so many different aspects. But I wanted to know, like, what has life been since graduating college? If you experienced a post-grad crisis, anything like that. I know you made a video a while ago, but I would like to know, since it's been some time since that video, where are you at now? What was that crisis for you? What did that look like? Because I feel like that's like a universal experience for a lot of people. And that's actually the first video I found from you where I was like, oh, wow, like I see other people making videos like this and they can put into words how I don't even know how I'm feeling, like how to describe that. So what are your thoughts?
Ooh, such a fun topic. Before we get into it, hi Joy,
Hi,
welcome.
Joy.
Yeah, so I did make a video about the post-grad crisis back in the day, and I want to make another one because it is such an experience that's been echoed by so many of my friends, and I think it's something that nobody is prepared for or expecting. Like, I know when I was in college, I was very much like, when I graduate, everything's going to be amazing. Things are going to fall into place. I was so eager and like had these idyllic ideas of my adulthood.
Yeah.
And for me, the post-grad crisis was mainly realizing that things were not going to happen as quickly or as easily as I expected them to, and accepting that, because I think this all ties into like our ideas of success, right? And like how young success is so glamorized and we
Yeah.
feel this pressure to like have it all together in like our early 20s, and have the money and like the house and the successful career.
Yeah.
And yeah, to me, the post grad crisis was realizing that that picture was gonna take a lot longer and my 20s might not look like that. And that's okay.
Yeah.
So I think I've accepted it now, but it was really stressful coming out of college and feeling kind of like a failure just because things weren't happening how I wanted them to.
Yeah. I feel like that's hella real because I saw a lot of people making videos about like how they make six figures being in their 20s and how they're gonna retire soon, if not already retired, and they're already set up for life. And I think that it kind of paints an unrealistic picture of what it is to be a 20-year-old. Like, I felt like these people talked as if they have everything figured out and that like they're good to go. And granted, all these people are like business owners, they do content creation full time, which is a very lucrative industry. So it's like it's not easy to copy and paste that if one, you don't even want to be that, or two, even if you do, it takes a lot of time for that to even happen. And so I felt like for me, it was almost like I felt like maybe I need to rush, or maybe I'm behind. And I felt like a lot of it was subconscious as well because I have a lot of different career aspects that I would like to pursue. And being straight out of college, I felt like I knew that that was going to take some time, but just absorbing all this content kind of like subconsciously made me think I'm maybe behind or I'm not where I'm supposed to be. So,
Yeah,
be like that.
I totally agree. Feeling behind is very stressful, or just like feeling slow, or like, is there
Yeah.
something wrong with me because I'm not able to achieve this on a fast timeline? Like, and doubting yourself like in that way too. I totally resonate with that. Um, Alyssa says she actually started college as an adult a few years ago. That's interesting. I'd be curious to hear how you feel like that like different timeline has affected like how you feel about your trajectory, or like do you ever feel like nervous about the fact that you're starting later? Like I would
Yeah.
love your thoughts. Oh, we got more thoughts. Wonderful. I dropped out my first year, but really enjoyed the path I took. I don't regret it, but I wonder where I would be at if I didn't. That's interesting.
I feel like that's a very normal like outlook to think about it because like especially for non-traditional students or whatever, like a lot of people, because when I was in college there were people of all different ages in different classes that I took, and honestly I feel like there's a certain level of like almost like a pro in it because I felt like a lot of people, like especially 18, 19, maybe even until you graduate, you don't know what you want to do, and a lot of people are just wasting time and money taking classes, changing majors, and all that stuff. Which, honestly, if you think about it, the fact that you need to know what you want to do for the rest of your life at so young can kind of be like mind boggling to a certain extent. But I think that, at least if I am trying to put myself in a non traditional student's point of view, like uh, going into it knowing what you want, and maybe you won't have the same exact experience, or maybe you don't want to have the same exact like traditional college experience with parties or sororities or whatnot, but I feel like being able to go into it with like more maturity and like better head on your shoulders can be really beneficial for your like success in the long run.
Totally agree. Yeah. I don't be using my college major like almost at all. And definitely didn't realize at the time. I mean, I'm still grateful to have had the college experience. And honestly, I think more what I got out of college was that experience and not necessarily, I don't really feel like it helped me that much in my life, my post-grad life. But yeah, I think that's a great perspective, Amina. Hi Z, welcome in. Graduated into COVID. I feel like I'm having more of a crisis now. Finally quit the job I took out of necessity and have no idea what the next step is going to end up being.
Honestly, I feel like COVID was kind of like a universal trauma for a lot of people. So I feel like it just seems very normal for that to happen for some people. Like to go into college, maybe expecting it to go one way, and then COVID happened and kind of changed the trajectory of what you saw. And also, like, if you, like, I'm assuming you went to like 18 to 22 or just early 20s, late teens, college, and then maybe even like later than that. Like I said before, it's so hard to just go into it being like, I know exactly what I want to do for the rest of my life when you literally are 20 years old. Like, that is hard. And I feel like it's weird how society works that way. Like, and then you get judged for changing majors or not knowing. I loved my major, but need more schooling to pursue this subject. Be like that sometimes, honestly. Grad school and all that. Totally understand.
Yeah. But I really relate to like quitting a job that you took from need and then kind of having like a, okay, where am I going moment. Yeah, that can be really tricky to have to do those big pivots and just like not really knowing a clear direction. Madison, it's been so strange seeing people settling down, graduated 2022, and a bunch of people in my graduating class are engaged, getting married, even having kids, but I'm going to grad school instead. Wow, people are getting married and having kids when you only graduated in 2022? That's crazy. Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, I feel that too. I feel like no one in my social circles is starting to settle down yet. But my boyfriend, who's a couple years older, his friends and stuff are starting to get married and have kids. And it is really freaky to see, especially when you're really just not at that stage yet.
I think it also has a lot to do with like what do you want yourself, like if that's something you really want to do, and like having maybe to juggle, oh, I want to like settle down, get married, have kids, then also I have this post grad or graduate school or whatever. Like sometimes it can be hard to like balance both, because I was like a health science major, so I had people from like so many different like science careers that they want to pursue, and sometimes having the balance of like, oh, what do I care about more can be kind of like a headache to even think about in and of itself, or thinking like, oh, do I need to go this route, and even though I really want a different route. I don't know, I just feel like this time of life is very confusing, and there's just so many different ways to go about, because now we're big girls, guys. Like, we are adults and we can do so many things, whether it's focusing on career, family, or whatever. And also, like, with, I think it goes back to the previous comment about quitting a job for necessity and all that stuff. Sometimes even just like graduating and then wanting to find your dream job, but then it's not there yet, and having to just work so you can survive, and all these passions, and it's just not like hitting what you really want to do, but you need the money. So it can be a lot.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a lot of overwhelming mixed priorities and not a ton of time, because so many of us have to also like maintain a job or something like that. So it's like, how do you find yourself and explore and find what you want to do with your life, and also juggle maintaining a personal life, like maintaining a job, making enough money to support yourself? It's like such an overwhelming thing, adulthood. I'm going to catch us up on some of these comments real quick. I wouldn't do it any differently. My partner and I agree, doctor before Mrs., but everyone is in such different places now than when we were in school. True, there's so much choice and so many different ways you can go that in itself is almost overwhelming, because in school and stuff, it's a very clear path and like you know what's expected of you. But it's really cool that you have so many options when you become an adult, but also it's like kind of a lot of different routes you can go.
I agree.
Do you want to read this one, Amina?
I think working towards a goal is just so important, whether that be a family goal or school goal, just having something to look forward to. Absolutely. I feel like that helps you with knowing what direction you want to go to, like go towards, and limiting the amount of confusion it takes. Cause I know I'm the type of person where if I have so many options, I'm going to get overwhelmed and get like paralyzed in choice. So I think being able to know where you want to head is like really important.
Yeah, totally agree. And we are big goals people over
Yeah.
here.
If you haven't seen the last live stream, go ahead and look at that.
Mhm. Um, I also am doing college as an adult, so I totally get. Oh, that's sweet that we have several people doing college as adults. Can relate there. I actually enjoy it more this way, and I feel more capable of doing a good job compared to how I was as a teenager.
Yeah.
Mm. This could be interesting for us to discuss. Like, we obviously talked about some of the challenges, but what do we feel like has improved in our adulthood or that are like the pros?
Mm.
Could be interesting to
You want to
discuss.
start?
Sure. Well, I think I'm way more secure in myself than I was when I was younger. That's something I've gained in the past couple years for sure. Um, the amount of freedom that I have now, like with the decisions that I can make about my own life, has been a huge improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, like being able to carve out time for the things that I want to do and having like the privacy and space and safe environment to do those things has
Yeah.
been really special. Um, and you do get some pride from taking care of yourself and like showing up for yourself. Like being responsible can give you such a feeling of like pride in yourself and confidence too. So
Mm-hmm.
those are some things I think I've gained in my 20s. What about you?
I absolutely agree. I feel like as a teenager and before that, I felt like I let too much noise from the outside impact me and almost added to more of the confusion of who I am. And maybe I thought I liked things that I actually don't like. And I just didn't seem very secure in myself. And now that I'm older, I feel so, not like so sure that I know who I am, like that I'm never going to grow or change. But I just feel so like secure in myself now that I know what I want and what I don't want. And I felt like growing up too, like I didn't feel comfortable saying things that I don't do because I didn't want to be judged for it or something like that. And even just to tie in like us in our real life, we had a conversation recently for everyone in the chat that about something I don't even remember what it was about, but drinking came up and I was talking about how I don't drink alcohol. And I feel like before I would have felt insecure saying that and like judged.
Mhm.
And that could have also been around with the people I'm surrounded by. But like when we started talking about it, I was like, it's not a big deal. And I don't feel bad sharing that about me because that's just who I am. And I feel like maybe it goes against society because people like to drink alcohol and have a good time or whatever. And I think before it made me feel weird and I just would shy away from that. So I just feel very like sure of myself and know that okay, if someone were to be weird of me sharing the things I like and don't like, then I don't want to be around them. So
That's such a good point. I relate to that a lot. I feel like I've talked about before the fact that I was a diehard people pleaser growing up, and
mm-hmm.
it's still something that I'm working on. But I will say that, like, I remember so many experiences when I was younger of being in a social situation and something coming up that I know I'm going to be judged for, and just like the heat that would fill my entire body. Like, I would be
Yeah.
like, having a heart attack in
Yeah.
that chair, whether it was my parents' friends, whether it was peers at school, like it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's so rare. And I think part of the cool thing about being an adult is like when you're in school, you're in this like constant contact with so many peers that it's really intense social pressure. And I agree, when you get some distance from that, it's a lot easier to like find yourself and like be more yourself because you're not constantly getting all of those outside opinions influencing you,
Yeah.
um, and making you feel like you have to censor yourself or cater your personality or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And like you said, like it's a thing of like now if someone doesn't like you, you don't need them in your life type of thing. There's less forced social interaction. So it's like if you don't like me, if I don't like you and don't align with you, we don't have to interact. And like that's chill, you know?
Love that.
Also, we have a ton of chats. Amina, if you want to read my.
Okay. Madison said, I don't drink either, but honestly, having a ton of fun. Wait, DDing?
Designated drivering.
Okay, cool. See, I just don't know the terminology. And I love being able to do that for my friends. Honestly, love that you have a group of people who you can like, they don't make you feel like you are an outsider and you can hang out with them and be the designated driver and all that. So
yeah.
I've gone through multiple things, therapy, medications, and discovering how to live with mental illness. I didn't have the tools I have now when I'm in my 20s. Yeah. I feel like too, when like, especially in just in mental illness or mental health category or aspect, like some people, like their parents just don't believe in it. They don't see that there's actually something that you might be struggling with. So when you're an adult, you can take that authority for yourself. So love that.
Yes, totally agree. And you start to learn like your own tools and coping mechanisms over time from like, okay, like you have the maturity to be like, what can I do to support myself in this situation? Like you can almost parent yourself in the best way, you know?
Mm-hmm. Same. Haven't drank for 2 years, and honestly, it's liberating question. How do you guys balance your passion with your 9 to 5? Ooh, that's fun. Do you want to start, Brielle?
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, love this question, so thank you. This is something I'm constantly trying to work on. For me, it's been a lot of optimizing my weekends and taking as much advantage as I can of those 2 full days. But also making sure that I'm not filling every spare moment with YouTube and with like my passions, because you will burn out and you will feel like less of a whole happy human. So for me, it's been all about making sure I'm still also doing things like hobbies or just like making me time where I'm not being productive, as well as trying to optimize the free time I do have, which is primarily my weekends. That's when I feel like I have the most time and the most energy to really dedicate to my passions. Amina?
Just wanted to say I love that this is a question because we literally just talked about this, about like the whole me time thing and stuff. But I would say for me, it has a lot to do with my schedule because I do have Wednesdays off from work. So I use that as the days that I film, and I try my best to pre-film as much as possible, and then weekends as well for editing. But I think it's just honestly not so much in trying to like force passions into my day, just recognizing what do I need? Do I need a break? Do I feel like creatively drained? Do I feel like I really want to do something creative? Like I don't try to force it or necessarily try to find a balance. It's just I'm very much what do I need in the moment type of person. I do have a schedule, right? Like Wednesdays I do want to film, and for the most part I do love YouTube so much, so it doesn't ever seem much like a chore. But if it ever does, then I'm like, yo, me first. So I'm just gonna like let that, like if I have to miss a week, I have to miss a week. But and also spending time with friends and family and stuff is also really important. So as just like a basis, I film on Wednesdays and try to edit that day as well. But if not, I'll take a little bit of the weekend. But mostly at nighttime, I never try to like force stuff if I don't have to, because then I'm just gonna get burnt out. So,
yeah. I love that take. Like, I love how this is something I really admire about Amina, guys, is she's very good about being intuitive with how she balances and listening to herself. And that's something that I really need to work on. But I think that that is a really big part of the key. And also, one of the great things about passions is it's something you're probably naturally motivated for because you love it, right? So it feels very rare that I have to force myself to do things like YouTube, which definitely makes it easier to balance, because it's like when I have been working a lot, I'm craving it. Like I'm craving working on my own stuff.
yeah.
And so I honestly think if I didn't love it so much, it'd be a lot harder to try and use discipline all the time. Because I enjoy it, it's like it still requires some discipline sometimes, but most of the time I'm like, hell yeah, let's get back to it. Like,
and I have a passion because I feel like whenever you're super into something, it motivates me. It's like you're my battery a lot of times whenever I hear you talk about stuff, and I'm like, honestly, okay, I'm recharged. It's time to go. So I love that.
I love that. Welcome, Rebecca. Yay, I'm so glad that you're enjoying it. That's so fun. I noticed for me with a 9 to 5 in YouTube, I really don't have a social life. I'm really struggling with adding that to my schedule. Still trying to find a balance, TBH. Yeah, I get that because I felt the same way when I first started YouTube. My social life went way down the drain. I feel like it takes time to calibrate it, but Yeah, it can be hard. And sometimes you do have to make some sacrifices, but I think it's about um finding the right amount where you still feel healthy and like you're giving your relationships the care that they need, while also knowing that it's okay to prioritize this thing that you really want to do and you shouldn't feel overly guilty for that either. But hoping you find balance soon.
And also, just to add, I feel like when I first started YouTube, I was so inconsistent. I just didn't know anything. And I don't know what point of your YouTube journey you're on, but at least in my experience, I felt like one, it took me way longer to film because I was camera shy. I didn't know how to share my personality. So it took a lot longer. Editing, I was still figuring stuff out. So I didn't know as much as I do now. But I feel like it's like a muscle. The more you use it, the better you get. And it's easier to like squeeze in time
Yeah.
and like throughout the day, even if you do have work. Like I've done things during my lunch break as well. So
Mhm.
I think it's just one of those things. Like the more you do it, the more it becomes a habit. It just ends up fitting. I don't know how else really to describe it other than that.
That's a really great point. I agree. I think with time you become a little bit more efficient, like with your YouTube, and like you learn also like, okay, I have a lot of social plans this weekend. Maybe I'm doing a simpler video, or maybe I'm uploading a day later. Like you start to be able to move those pieces around and adjust your schedule based on your personal commitments and like how you're feeling. And I think all of that like comes with time, but it is tough. So my heart goes out to you. It's not easy. Um, Another question from Hannah. Amina, want to read it?
How do you work through being creative with videos and having fun and working on growing your channel and not letting the numbers psych you out, girl? Oh my god. Okay, so Brielle, do you want to start or do you want me to go?
Oh God, you start. I need to think.
Okay, how do I work through being creative with your videos and having fun? Okay, honestly, I think just being able to lean into those moments of motivation. Like me and Rio were talking about this not that long ago, like how this time of year we just have so many videos we're super excited about. It's just the end of the year slash beginning of the new year, lots of goal related resets and stuff like that. And we're just really excited for the videos we have planned. And I feel like whenever that happens for me, I have a lot of videos planned out in advance. Like I think I don't know, like almost 2 months planned for videos, but also I'm flexible to change, right? Like if I don't feel like posting that certain video, I'm gonna move it back, no problem. So I don't know if I have to like work through the videos in terms of being creative or having fun. Like I'm not gonna try to force it. If I'm not feeling creative or if I'm not having fun, you're not gonna see me. So I don't I don't really think so much about that, but when I am feeling very motivated, I lean into it. And when I'm not feeling super motivated, but I still have like the discipline to keep filming, I'll just keep filming. So kind of doing that and then working on growing your channel and not letting the numbers psych you out. Honestly, in terms of like working on growing my channel, I try not to think too much about it. Like I'm just super excited about certain videos. So I might think of like how to title it a certain way that might be more appealing for people, or how to create like I've been working on my thumbnails and editing and stuff like that I feel like I can grow on. But I try to focus as much as possible on myself and what I can do rather than what everyone else can do to like support my channel. You know what I mean? The numbers sometimes, if they psych you out, they psych you out. I really don't have many tips on that. I feel like it's really hard. It's really hard to not let it get to you sometimes. Sometimes there's good days, sometimes there's bad days. But something that I like to think about is like if I have a really like a video doing really well, I try not to think about it too much or let it get to my head. I try to just think like, okay, this is just a video that's doing well, and not put too much importance on it. And so then also when there's a video doing poorly, I don't put too much importance on that either. I'm just like, it's just a video and it's not doing as well, but it's fine. And as long as I like it, then that's all that matters. Like it shouldn't, I try not to like think too much about it, but it is hard to be like not excited when something's doing well and not be a little bit bummed when it's not. I think it's just human nature, but being able to like recognize when it's starting to impact your mental health and be like, okay, let me step away, let me delete the studio and stuff like that, like is really important. So I'd love to know your thoughts, Brielle.
Yeah, I resonate with a lot of that. For me, I think all elements of this question, it really comes in waves for me. So there will be waves of time where I'm feeling really creatively excited about my content. And I'm like, I want to try this font. I want to try this crazy shot. I want to like experiment. And then there will be waves where I'm kind of coasting a little bit more and I'm just kind of maintaining consistency. And same thing with the growth thing. Sometimes I'm feeling like I want to be really strategic and make videos that I think are going to help grow my channel. And other times I'm just like, I just want to make the videos I want to make, or I want to make videos that aren't going to be too hard or stressful or, you know, put too much strain on me. So for me, it's always waves and phases of the YouTube journey. And that's something I'm trying to like accept and ride out because it's a long-term thing. So you can't be every week like, what is the best possible video I can make that's going to get 1 million views? And how can I make it the most complicated video I've ever created? Because you will literally fall on the floor if you do that every week. So that's something I'm trying to come to terms with, is letting it have ebbs and flows. When I'm feeling more motivated, I might be more focused on trying to grow. Maybe if the numbers are doing good, to be honest, that does make me feel a little spark of motivation. And I think that's natural. But yeah, in terms of not letting the numbers psych you out, we talk about this a lot. It is a lot easier said than done. But what Amina said about if you like the video, it's going to be a lot less crushing when a video does badly. I think that's really true. And yeah, we do lots of little analytics cleanses. I think it's just a matter of giving yourself little mental health checks of like, am I feeling bad most of the time when I look at these numbers? If so, it's time to step back. And kind of knowing what is too much information. Like I'm trying to look less at my click-through rate and my view duration type of stats, because to me, that is giving myself fuel to potentially be mean to myself.
Ooh.
And I don't think that's constructive. So yeah.
I really like that something Brielle does a lot is like celebrating the little wins. And so I feel like I like the part where you talked about like it's the long game and all that. Like if you celebrate the little things, then it helps pull you along and not have to worry about like, why am I not at 1 million or something like that. And also in terms of like the numbers, like just because a video is doing bad now doesn't mean it's always going to do bad. YouTube likes to play games, and like I had videos that I posted a long time ago all of a sudden get a lot of views and I'm like, what the heck? And then I feel stupid because I'm like, what was I worried about? Why was I sad? And it's just not good to let that have so much control over your emotions.
Yes, totally agree. Yep. We have some more comments too. Alyssa says she's also struggling to maintain my YouTube in 9 to 5. Yep. And Rebecca is killing it. Highly recommend checking her out. Okay. We'll have to take a look. Really great advice. Thank you guys. I think my biggest thing is learning how to edit faster. I think that's what's slowing me down the most. Definitely the most time consuming part of the process for sure.
Yes.
And then this is for you.
Oh, how long have I been making videos? So on the 29th this month will be 2 years. So I'm making a video about it coming up where I talk about my experience and all that. But it's been very interesting because the first year I felt like I was very sporadic with my posting. I was up and down. And I think this was the first real year where I was like, okay, let's be consistent. So yeah, I would love to know how long you've been doing YouTube, Alyssa. Because I love there's so many creators in this chat. Like I'm going to stalk everyone's channel once we're done.
I know, right? It's like my favorite thing. Also, I had this thought and it slipped out of my brain, but then it came back. What you said about the little wins, something that helps me as well when like, say my subscribers aren't really going up or like my views don't seem too high, I'll look for like more niche metrics that show growth. So like I was telling Amina the other day, I'll be like, okay, how many videos do I have above like 300 views? And whenever that increases, I'm like, ooh, growth. Even if it's not on the surface, like I have a ton more subscribers, it's like, wait, like my averages are starting to get a little higher. So it's looking for those like small things that you can like look at and be like, okay, encouragement, like things are shifting, you know?
Or even just remembering the time where you had like 2 views per video.
Right.
There's always something to like look at and be like, oh, I did it. I'm doing better and I'm growing.
Exactly. Yeah. Like when you started your channel, if you got the views you have now, you would have been like,
yeah,
you know? I just got back into creating, so I'm trying to have fun with it. So trying to avoid the numbers until the end of the month. Are you guys excited for 2024? First of all, I think that's a great idea. I would love to be checking my analytics only once a month. I think that's a pristine system that I want to be on.
Yeah.
And yeah, having fun with it's important. I'm super excited for 2024. I'm sure Amina is too.
And I just love thinking about like where I'll be in the next year. So I feel like with videos and stuff and like goal setting, it's my favorite thing, reflection and stuff like that. So I'm very excited to know where I'm at, not just with my YouTube channel, but just like personal development in myself and all that. But I will say at the same time, I'm very sentimental, and like thinking about growing older makes me sad a little bit. So I'm just gonna be for real right now. Like it does make me a little sad at the same time, but I'm excited because overall it's a very exciting thing.
Yeah, I totally feel that sentiment. Growing older also gives me a little bit of a crisis when I think about it too deeply. So we're not gonna dive into that. But I'm super excited. This is like one of the most exciting times of year for me. And I love just seeing what I can change and accomplish in a year. You know, it's like always pleasantly surprising how much you grow. So, Alyssa says she started in February, but has not been consistent. Oh my God. I love this creator chat.
Yeah. Being consistent is the hardest thing because it's a new thing you're starting. So
Yes. I started 4 months ago, not just consistent, just kind of do it for fun. Oh my God, we do have a lot of creators in here. Jeez.
this is a sleepover creator chat. Like,
Yeah, I love that. I love this perspective. I'm trying to work on really embracing this idea. I agree. Like to have lived so much life is such a beautiful thing.
I think for me, like, I don't think I'm afraid of aging and stuff. It's just like thinking how far away from childhood I am and how I felt like I was like all kids are just so wholesome and sweet. And you have all these memories and just I guess being further away from that. But there's so much in the future that I don't even know about yet that I'm getting closer to achieving family, children, whatever that I haven't met yet. So it's like it's a net positive. You know, we made it a year. We survived.
Yeah. And that's also why I think having goals is so fun. It just like gives you this feeling of like something bright and exciting that's coming up, which I feel like it'd be good, especially when you're starting to feel some type of way of like, oh, this stage is ending. Like whenever I get like down bad about like elements of my life that are no longer there, I'm like, but I have this new fun, exciting thing that I'm like, can't wait to put time into and that I love. So yeah.
Definitely agree.
Should we jump topics a little bit?
Yes, okay, so maybe we can talk. Maybe since we have such an active chat, we can ask you guys what you would be interested in us talking about next. We have some topics about friendships and making friends as an adult. We have some about confidence and comparison, and we also have like hobbies. So, would you rather hear about friends, confidence / comparison, or hobbies? I'm down for whatever.
Yeah, or anything else. Anything else. And if you have any questions within those categories, feel free to throw anything out. Let's hear it. Honestly, we got 2 hobbies already in the chat.
Oh, we got hobbies. Honestly, I wasn't expecting that, but love it.
Okay, I feel like we should just go with that. I love
Okay, then we'll go with hobbies. So I would like to know for you and the chat, what were some of your hobbies growing up? Did you continue them into adulthood? And if not, why?
Okay, so I mean the obvious one here is writing, right? That was like my big hobby in like middle and high school that I took a break from. And now that I'm back to it, I feel like me and my younger self are like hanging out now.
Oh, I love that.
So sweet and special. I also used to make little like iMovie like movie trailers with my friends, or like we would interview dogs. It was crazy.
Interview dogs.
Yeah. Which is honestly a full circle moment too, because then I ended up going to film school and now I make YouTube videos. So I think it's so cool when a hobby you had as a child that clearly shows a very pure interest because you were a kid. Like you didn't have any ulterior motives. You clearly just loved this thing.
Yeah.
When you're able to tap into that as an adult, oh my God, like explosions of like serotonin.
Yeah.
Amina, what about you?
I think for me, okay, what did I even ask? Okay, hobbies growing up? I think for me it was definitely reading, Also art. I love to draw and paint. I loved crafts, so like crochet. I did some knitting as well, but I don't think I did it as much as like crocheting, which is kind of hilarious. Like 8-year-old knitting. Like it seems like a very like old person, but I loved anything to do with like crafts.
So cute.
And I don't those hobbies I didn't like I'm continuing into adulthood now, but like there was a huge gap between those, and I think we probably all can relate in some way that we had all these hobbies growing up. There was a big gap. We're probably teenagers, and then now we're just like rediscovering them again. And it's probably about technology and having social media and a phone and just all these like things are now in our face. And it's more about consuming rather than pursuing.
Yeah.
I did that. Oh my god.
Everyone, write that down. Write that down.
The way my brain is just like growing snaps. Anyway, I really do think that that's what it was. Like I used to do so many things, not care about anyone else's life. The internet wasn't like it is now. So I felt like now when I was a teenager trying to figure out myself and puberty and all this stuff, changes going on, I just neglected it. And then like now that I feel more confident in myself and I know who I am, and I don't care about what other people have to say about what I like to do, I'm now getting back into it. And I love that it now shaped into my YouTube channel, because books had nothing to do with my channel before. It was about lifestyle, languages, and probably like some vlogs in there as well. But like now I love talking about books. Books is like one of my favorite things and probably going to be the biggest part of my channel moving forward. So I just love, like how you said, like it was such a pure thing growing up, and then being able to reconnect with it now. I love it so much, and I'm so glad that I'm doing it now, because I don't need to consume any more vlogs or videos or Instagram content. Like I need to worry more about myself and what brings me joy rather than seeing what other people do and what brings them joy. So love that.
Absolutely agree. We have a ton of shiz going on in the chat, so I'm going to pull them up. But we will circle back because a few people asked about friendships. We will do that next. So I'm not ignoring your messages. We're just going to circle back. Yeah, editing videos was my 6th grade hobby, and I'm still doing it at 25.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. I was a figure skater, and I quit because I couldn't afford it, but it's a goal to go back in 2024.
Honestly, I love that. Sorry to interrupt if I did, but I used to love to skate as well. I actually have skates. Oh my god, I'm not gonna go get them. But when I was in my reconnecting with my childhood whatever phase, which I'm still in, I guess, I bought skates. And I'm trying to like go back into it because I felt like it's like you're flying. So I love that. Never tried figure skating before, but I feel like I would love it. But
that's so cool. I didn't know you were into skating back in the day.
I had a lot of hobbies. Like that's all I can say. Every Saturday I go to skating rink. You would sit there.
That's so cute. But the thing about hobbies being expensive is a good point, because that's how I feel about photography right now. It's too expensive. Started crocheting when I was like 9 and still do. Determined to master knitting in 2024 too. How special can I just say that people are bringing up like, oh, I want to get back to X in 2024. I love that you guys are thinking like that. You are ready to bring the hobbies into your goals. So exciting. My childhood hobby was piano. Now I'm enjoying getting into reading, crochet, and fountain pens.
Oh,
love that.
I love the creativity. I feel like we're all having very like expressive hobbies, which is really
Yep. Oh my god, so many knitters in the chat.
so.
That's so fun. I love that.
It was just, I don't know. I just think it's so cool, like being able to have something I made when I was younger and then still have it now. And I'm like, look at me. Like I made this when I was so tiny. And like now I'm trying to like, I live in Florida, so it doesn't really get that like cold, but I would love to just crochet my niece little like socks and stuff. But like I think it's just gonna end up being like, oh, that was a good gesture, but she ain't gonna use it because it's Florida. But I love that, because then I learned this skill when I was younger, and now she's a kid, and so
Aw,
it's a full circle thing. I love it.
that's incredibly sweet. I love that. And I think it also reminds me of that video I made that was like, stop consuming, start creating. There's something about like creating a physical thing, or like something that other people can see or that you can see and touch.
Yeah.
And the tangibility of that, I just think it's so special to like create something that wasn't there before, no matter what it is. If it's like knitting something, if it's what else have we had? Like people who are into the music, even like reading a tangible book or like a Kindle. There's just something about it.
It brings a certain joy that I feel like it's very hard to recreate in other ways.
Exactly.
I love skating. I played roller derby first season. Ooh, yeah, I wouldn't be able to. I would fall. But love that for you.
Do you want to talk about the friendship thing? Somebody asked, how do you guys go about creating friendships in the creator world?
Ooh, actually, should we talk about how we met?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'll start because I made the first move. But I like I mentioned before, I first saw your channel with a because of the post grad existential crisis thing, and it was funny because I saw a different creator make that video, so I searched it to see if other people had different thoughts on it, and I found your channel, and you had like 500 I think or so subscribers, and I watched you like maybe like 2 or 3 videos before I like decided to actually comment because I'm a shy girl, and so I just really liked your vibe and your energy, and I thought it was really like relatable, and I thought like I could really become good friends with you. So I like left you like a long paragraph about whatever the video was about, and at the end I said, "And if you want to be friends, I'm totally." And so then we kept talking, and then do you want to talk about how you, from your perspective, how that worked?
Yeah. Well, when someone is a consistent commenter on my channel, I notice, like I remember. So I started recognizing Amina, and then I checked out her channel because I saw she was also making videos. And then we kind of had this back and forth commenting thing, which I think is the key to starting off a creator friendship is like,
Yeah.
I see you, you see me, we're commenting on each other's videos and like calling out specific things that we resonated with. So you can start to get to know each other, even just through comments back and forth and realizing what you have in common. So that's kind of how it started. And then we ended up following each other on Instagram, DMing, and then exchanging numbers. And now here we are. And now we're like actually full on friends.
I definitely feel like it's about feeling each other out because it can be awkward, right? Like if you, or let's say you get comments from other people and then maybe you just don't vibe the same way. And like, I feel like being able to have that back and forth helps feel each other out to be like, oh, are we connecting? Like, is this what I think it is? So I think that would be important. Not necessarily it has to be this is the only way to do it. But just in our experience, and we also have another friend, Celine, and that was a similar thing as well, where we just all watched each other's videos and kept commenting, and then you feel comfortable exchanging numbers because that could be something you want to be like not too quick to give out because it can be dangerous. But once you like realize, oh, they're normal, they're not gonna be weird, then exchange numbers, have fun.
Yeah, and I think the awesome thing about YouTube is like when you are creating creator friends, it's like you kind of know quite a bit about them before you even start talking. So it's kind of easy to suss out, okay, would me and this person vibe? Like Amina said, we already knew we would vibe because we had all this stuff in common. So the nice thing about being friends with creators is like you get this insight into like what do they value, what interests are they pursuing. You already have in common that you're both creating, and so it's honestly a great place to find people that are like-minded and have shared interests. And even before I did YouTube, like back in when I was in school and stuff, I would make friends over like Instagram and stuff, and they would be in shared communities with me, and that's how we would meet. And honestly, it was very comforting in a time where I wasn't connecting like that with people in my real life. So I really believe in the power of the internet can do some beautiful things. It can do some bad things, but it can also do some beautiful things.
Because we would have never met in any other situation. And then when we first started sending actual text messages, it was like paragraphs, and then it turned into voice memos, and now we talk every single day.
Yeah.
But as much as I talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay, the Fountain Pen / Journaling YouTube circle is on Discord, so it has been really easy to make friends with similar interests. I love that. I feel like Discord and like similar things like that is really nice because then it's just a big chat to talk and connect with people. So I love that.
Yeah. That's cool about like the fact that there's so many niches on YouTube too, like different communities. Like even since starting the writing channel, I'm now exposed to this writer tube community, which is like way more like robust than I could have imagined. I'm like, whoa, I feel like I've entered this whole new little world. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Aw, this is so sad.
Oh,
I'm sorry that people have been sucky.
I'm curious to know your approach to it.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. We love the interwebs. Talk a little bit about friendships outside of YouTube too, like maybe talking about like what makes a good friend to you. And I'd be curious to also hear how has this changed? Because I know for me, my friendship standards have changed a lot.
Okay, go first. I would love to hear.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Okay. And yes, we are still talking about friendship. So if you have thoughts, feel free to throw them in. Yeah, so I would say my standards for friendships have improved because when I was in my people pleasing era, I was very much like I want everyone to like me, and even if I don't like them, I will take it personally if they do not like me. So I felt
Ooh.
like I was on the hunt to be as palatable as possible, and I needed to be able to fit what everyone wanted me to be. And so that resulted in me not really showing who I was to the people in my life or to new friends, which obviously resulted in not like close, real friendships.
Yeah.
So for me now, I feel like the main thing that I look for in a friend, and me and Amina talked about this when we played We're Not Really Strangers. But the main thing I look for in a friend is someone who makes me feel like safe and comfortable to be myself. And if I have that, then we can actually get close. But if I'm on the defense and I don't feel like I can be vulnerable, it's not going to work out. And I also just feel like similar values of like people who are driven, who like want to take charge of their life, who care about improving as a person and take accountability for their life and what they do. That's something else I really look for in friends.
Yeah.
What about you?
Completely agree with everything you said, except for maybe I don't know if I was as much as the people pleaser in that aspect, but I felt like I did maybe put up with too much that I didn't need to. And so I feel like in terms of the question of like how it changed, I feel like now I'm not going to put up with things that I don't like. But for what I look for is probably like similar effort, because I think my worst friendships were always one-sided, and I felt like they just wanted to hear me or just wanted to be friends with me so they can hear themselves talk and have me listen, because I do feel like I'm a pretty good listener, but like I would also like to have them listen as well. And I felt like I had a lot of selfish friendships and they just only wanted someone to rant to, and it would just always just be like negativity. And also I realized I had a lot of friends who had other drama with people, which I just cannot fathom. Why are you having so much beef with people? Like honestly, I don't feel like friendship should be hard. I don't know in what situation it should be hard. If like as long as we're just respectful of each other, we're not trying to be controlling in any way. You do you, I do me. It shouldn't matter. And that's why also with the whole me not drinking thing, it's like, why would it bother anybody else? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you can't do anything. Just don't make me feel like I can't. So I think it's more so about just like mutual respect and equal effort. And also, I don't like people who only have negative things to say. Like, oh, let's talk badly about someone else. Like, a little gossip is like whatever, people do it sometimes. But like, if that's all we want, like you do is talk bad about other people, then I know you're probably just talking bad about me as well. So there's just so many red flags that I have in friendships. But yeah, I feel like as I became an adult, I just don't like. I'm quicker to spot that, and I just don't put up with things I don't want to.
Yes. Oh, if I relate. These I also feel like I'm a good listener and that it's been taken advantage of a lot. And whenever I would get in friendships with someone who was very dominant in the relationship, I would enter into that sort of like quiet companion role.
Yeah.
And not feel very valued, or even like they took an interest in me. And that was always so, it just doesn't make you feel good, right? When you feel like they don't care about what you're doing or what you care about. They're just there to have someone to talk to. And like you said, to hear themselves talk. So I totally relate to that. The one-sided friendships are really really draining and exhausting.
For real.
Yeah, I've been there. I believe it's okay to reach out to friends to an extent, like if that friend is abroad or moved away. But if a door has closed, new doors will open, especially if you stay true to who you are. I totally agree. I also have this perspective that sometimes people are just meant to be in your life for a season, and that's okay. And you can appreciate someone and everything you experience with them, but also be like, okay, that door is closed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking for people that are going to fit who I am today and what I want today. And
Yeah.
I think that's valid.
And also to add, like I felt like when I was in this transitional part of like not trying to deal with bad friendships anymore, I felt like I almost like I it's okay to recognize you don't want to be friends with them and also be like they're not a bad person. That doesn't mean I have to talk crap about them or that they're bad. It just maybe means you're not fit for each other and that's fine. And
Mhm.
whether you have a conversation and have like a breakup or if you just time happens and you guys just stop talking gradually, like it's okay and it doesn't mean that there has to be a bad guy because sometimes
Mhm.
friendships it's like there's not necessarily a bad person or someone's fault. It's just like you don't connect. Like not every person you talk to you're gonna connect with, and that's fine. And especially as you age, you're gonna be changing a lot. And from teenagehood to adulthood, I feel like a very different person than I was now. And there's no point of holding on to friendships that I just don't see it going far with. I guess.
Totally resonate with that. Yep. And oh God, what did you say at the beginning? Because I had a response and now it's left my brain.
Was it about what did I say? Sometimes I start talking and I just hope it ends well.
Oh my God.
Did I say was it about being able to let go or like recognize?
Oh God, I don't know. It's okay. Maybe it'll come back to me. We can respond to these first. Friendships are tough. It's so hard to gauge what is appropriate sometimes with social situations. I want to share so much with people and think it can be a little overwhelming for others.
Mm,
This is a good point. I think the pacing of friendships is something that's
yeah,
takes so much finessing and it can be hard to navigate sometimes because you want to build up that trust and closeness and gauge when it's safe to open up and stuff. This is something I'm trying to work on because I think I opened up too fast to the wrong people in the past and then ended up feeling burned by that. So,
yeah. I was about to say the same thing even because was like 2 days ago, me, Celine, and Brielle were on FaceTime and we were getting to know each other. We are playing this game called We're Not Really Strangers. And one of the questions were about like, have I gained your trust or vulnerability or something like that? And um, it's like one of those things where it's like I feel comfortable talking to like I can get comfortable to a certain extent to different friendships, but like you don't want to dump, I don't want to trauma dump on people and like just all at once give them all this information. It's like maybe gradually feel it out, see how they respond because it can be alarming even just on the receiving end, right? Like how would you feel if like somebody just like dump something really heavy on you and you're like, whoa, I didn't know we're there yet. Like it's kind of like I feel relationships, like dating and stuff, it can be very similar to friendships in a certain way of like, let's see where we go. Are we there yet? And make sure you trust them and you don't want to like say stuff that you can't take back, right? Because I feel like I had situations where I told people certain things that I wish I didn't.
mhm.
They don't deserve to know that stuff about me. So just like being like pace it and see if it's being reciprocated, see if you get to know each other and stuff like that, and if it works well. Because I will also say friendship breakups are real and they really suck and they hurt. So, you want to also protect your heart in friendships just as much as in romantic relationships.
Yes. And this reminds me of what I was going to say that escaped my brain. I was just going to say, I think compatibility is just as important in friendships as it is in romantic relationships, but we don't really talk about it as much. It's
Yeah.
like not everyone's going to be the right fit for you, even in a friendship sense.
Yeah.
These are key relationships in your life too. And you should be thinking in the same way that you think in a romantic relationship, you have this list of things that you maybe want in a partner. You should be thinking about what you want in friends too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree, like, to me, it's really about I need to suss out someone's character before I feel comfortable really being personal with them,
Hmm.
specifically because it's like, and I think we talked about this yesterday too. I'm having like deja vu, but even if you stop being friends with someone, if you know they're a good person, you can trust them to not, to not betray the things you shared with them in confidence, even if you guys are no longer close.
For
Like it can be a peaceful parting and you can be like, they have this information about me, but you know what? I still trust and love them, even if we're no longer close or we're no longer compatible at this stage.
And a good way to know that is see if they talk about their old friends and like how they talk about other people as well. Because I feel like it's okay to like part ways, and it's like if it doesn't work out, it didn't work out. But like I don't regret telling you stuff.
Right.
We don't have to have a friendship, like start a friendship as if you're gonna spend the rest of your life together, but just be able to be comfortable with them and stuff like that. But I don't know if there's another question in the chat, but let me know when there's not, because I have a follow-up question for that.
Oh, ask the follow-up question because I think we're good.
After, since we're talking about friendships and relationships and stuff like that, I want to ask what your love language is. I already know your love language, but I want to have this open conversation about it, like for friendships, because I feel like that's just as important than in romantic relationships, because it's very similar, and it can be, I feel like people can be like, oh, you're not a good friend, but it's like, oh, but do you know my love language, or how I like to have friendships and all that stuff? So I'd like to know.
Ooh. And everyone, if you want to drop your love language in the chat, we will talk about that too. But mine is words of affirmation through and through. I'm a words of affirmation girl. And honestly, if I'm not getting that affirmation, I will start to panic and my social anxiety creeps in. And it's like, does this person hate me? So it's essential for me to feel comfortable in a dynamic, and I'm very aware when it feels absent. And I also feel like I give a lot of words of affirmation, or at least I hope I do.
You do, for sure.
Oh, good.
So much. I'm like, oh my God, like so much so that I feel bad because I'm, oh my God, like when's the last time I hyped her up? Quick.
That's so funny. I'm done. And what's yours? Wait, let's do that before we get into the chat, because then we'll get, yeah.
Oh, I think mine are gifts and active service, which honestly I feel like those are like two of the same thing, because I just love to show people that I've been thinking about them, and so I want to give them gifts. Like they mentioned something once and I want to like do it for them. So I feel like those two go hand in hand. But as well, I love quality time, I love words of affirmation, all that stuff, except for maybe touch. I don't know, for friends, I feel like I might be a weird hugger. I don't know why I'm like this, but like, you know, maybe I've been overtouched, because I've had friends who like hold my hand when we're walking, like want to hug me every second, and I just feel weird, honestly. And I don't mind a hug, like, oh my God, I haven't seen you, hug. But like with friendships, I'm not a cuddly person. I don't want to hold your hands. I don't know how you feel about that. Because I don't know you like that, but I just want to know, because I just feel like I feel like, I don't know, it's just different than romantic relationships. But like friendships, I'm not gonna be holding hands, and if you see me holding hands with a girl down the street, just know it wasn't my idea.
Just know it wasn't my idea. Oh my God, that's so funny. I've never thought about touch in friendships. I don't know why I've never given it much consideration. I think I'm kind of neutral, where it's like I'll match the energy of whatever someone's giving me. Like
Okay.
I'm not gonna initiate or force it, but also if someone does it, it doesn't bother me, I guess would be my answer. I mean, within reason, you know.
Yeah. I've had very touchy friends, and it just makes me feel so uncomfortable. And now at a point where I would say something, just be like, I'm not really a hugger. Maybe like, because I felt like I just took it. That sounds so weird, but I just felt like I let it happen. But I was uncomfortable, and I don't think there's wrong with
hugs. I don't get the hugs thing. I'm fine with hugs.
I don't mind hugs, right? Like if we're saying goodbye or saying hello, we'll hug. But I had friends like even within hanging out, we're hugging, and I'm like, for what? Like I will hug you whenever I see you, and I don't mind it. I would love it. I will hug you goodbye. But like in the middle, why are we hugging and then we're touching, and then they put their head on my shoulder, and like I just get, I guess maybe too overly touched. Like I get too overstimulated. I don't.
This is so funny. Okay, now we'll address the chat. Words of affirmation are important to me in all relationships. Love it. Is there a quiz I can take to figure it out? I think there is, right? There must
Yeah,
be
I
one.
think, but also too, I've taken a few, but I realize over experience what I think fits me more. So
Yeah, that's true. You can also just read the descriptions, and I feel like you might be able to figure out what yours are. There's also a book, I don't know if you read it, Amina, called The Five Love Languages. That's how I learned about it.
yeah.
Mine is definitely words of affirmation as well. Huge overthinker over here, so being affirmed is meaningful for me.
Yeah.
I totally feel that. Yeah, it's like if you don't have the words of affirmation, your brain can fill in whatever you want. And if you're an anxious or overthinker,
Yeah.
sometimes that's not great. I can tolerate everything but physical touch.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Like, I'm curious to know your degree. Like, will you not hug? Because I like a good hug, but I don't know, too much. Maybe that's also like me. I can get anxious sometimes depending on who I'm with. So like, if I'm being touched at the same time, I'm like, get off me. I've had friends who are so touchy and it's hilarious. Does that bother you at all, Alyssa, or are you just like, oh, that's fun, that's cool? I'm just, oh. Honestly, same. Like we would get along so well because we're just not gonna be touching each other like that. Like it's not. I'm glad I'm not. But this can be weird too sometimes. Like I don't need it.
Hysterical.
Oh, this is so funny.
I'm curious. Do you guys have any? Where do you guys want to pivot from here? World is your oyster. What topics are you feeling?
Okay. Should we go? Oh, hey, girl.
For everybody.
I didn't know it was
Call her out.
The last stream, and I was like, oh my goodness, did I put a good impression? Like I'm meeting the family. But we have confidence versus comparison, and we also have. Wait, is that the only one? Yeah, we talked about hobbies. We talked about friendships. I don't know what other topics you guys would like to talk about. We could talk maybe personal development. We could talk about going through insecurities. We could talk about random things.
Yeah, feel free to throw out whatever you want us. Any questions you have for us. Not to overgeneralize, but I also feel like over excessive touchiness with friends can be a sign of someone very needy and draining, very much prioritizing their own physical comfort. That's a good point.
That was a good point. Like, and I get easily drained. Like, I'm very introverted, so I think that takes away, like, it drains me a lot faster if I'm getting, like, physical touch, like, as well. And they maybe don't realize that people have other boundaries as well. And I also should have said something as well, but I feel like it's really good to keep that in mind. Like, I know maybe that's their love language, but it's not going to be mine.
Yeah. I also think that's one of those things that you shouldn't assume that people will like or be okay with. Like I feel like you have to like test the waters, maybe ask, you know, it's like one of those things where it's kind of like, you should suss out whether it's the vibe first.
Yeah. And I feel awkward. Like I'm the type of person where you will see on my face how I feel. Like if I like a person, if I am annoyed with a person, if I'm liking what's happening, if I'm not, it's going to be all over my face. So,
yeah. I'm shocked that those friends did not pick up on that. I feel like if I did something that you didn't like, I would know immediately.
Yeah, they'll be on my face. Like, I don't know.
Which just shows that they weren't paying attention and they like weren't like attentive, good friends, which we don't love.
We're not friends anymore, and that's for reasons.
On that.
Beyond physical touch, but it's just a double like, oh yeah, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah. Facts. Okay. Yeah, y'all gotta let us know where you want us to go from here.
Maybe we can just start talking about confidence and how you guys think of some things. But we have, what has your confidence journey looked like for you? And what helps you feel the most confident? Tips or tricks?
Ooh. You want to start us off?
Sure. So I feel like my confidence journey has been very, I don't know, nothing like crazy special. Like I feel like very similar to many people, right? Like growing up, like when I was in elementary school, I was just myself. I didn't care about anything. I just wanted to play on the playground. Like I didn't care what I looked like whatsoever. Middle school, puberty time, early high school, I felt very uncomfortable in my body, which makes sense. Things are happening. So I'm like not feeling super secure and confident. And also one of those times where like people start dating in school and stuff, which I felt like impacted me to a certain extent, because you can tell when, like, you know, you're being desired by the opposite gender or whatnot. So I felt like I was in a very awkward phase. I don't feel like I was ever like uber duper insecure, but still generally insecure. And I felt like it was a very interesting correlation, because the more I thought about outside factors that didn't matter, the more insecure I got. But once I like stopped caring, which honestly happened around like junior year of high school, I just stopped caring about what guys think of me, what friends think of me. Like, I was so over it. Like, and that's where I feel like I started to like glow up in my own way, like, because internally I was feeling good, so then it kind of, I guess, showed out externally. It was funny because then that's also the time I started getting attention in that way, which is like, I'm glad I didn't get any type of attention when I was feeling insecure about myself, because I felt like it could have led me through a bad path and whatnot. And I feel like you should definitely be super secure in yourself if you're ever gonna, especially start like a relationship or something like that. But that once I started like junior year and I stopped caring about people and what they thought, I felt like I started feeling more comfortable in myself. And then college happened and I felt even more comfortable with myself, because you have more freedom and people are expressing themselves in so many different ways. Like, I saw so many, I don't know, you go down campus and people would be like just not caring, wearing things that were outwardly extravagant, but it's like, do you, like, you feel comfortable in yourself? And I think the environment helped a lot with me in that case. And now I feel like I have insecurities, right? There are certain things I look at, I'm like, oh, that's whatever. But generally I feel a lot better than I was when I was growing up, which I feel like is probably normal and relatable in that way. In terms of like tips or tricks, I would just say stop caring about people, like about what they think, and hearing other voices and thinking about what's trendy, what's popular, what's in, what's out, because that stuff changes all the time, and you shouldn't have to like let your like try to reflect what society thinks is desirable or pretty or whatever, and just think about what you want and what makes you feel happy, because that's all that really matters. And I think that once you learn to love yourself, then the confidence will come later. So love to know your thoughts.
I love that. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like I relate to a lot of parts of your journey. Definitely when I was younger, I feel like I was very much just like not socially accepted, period. In school, pretty much up until college, which I actually think I benefited from in some ways, because knowing that I wasn't going to fit in, I just kind of committed to my own thing. You
Yeah.
know, I wasn't so worried about impressing people because I knew it wasn't going to work. So I was just out here like reading and exploring my own interests and really just being myself, because it was kind of, there was no reason not to. I wasn't going to fit in any way, type of thing. Then when I went to college and I did start getting a little more socially accepted, I actually feel like I might have become a little bit more insecure, because I was now trying to cater to that. So now I was like more so melding myself and not really being myself. And so even though that was the most like physically confident I felt and the most socially confident I felt, I feel like I lost myself a little bit there and wasn't like really being myself. So is that really confidence? Kind of not really. At least to me now, I wouldn't call that confidence. And then in my adulthood, I'm just now starting to get to a place where I feel more secure in who I actually am, and am building confidence for the right reasons and for my authentic self, and not just for how I was faking or presenting to other people. So my confidence isn't as dependent, I feel like, on people thinking I'm cool or attractive or whatever as it was, which has been a big win for me. Curious to hear from all of you guys in the chat. How do you feel like your confidence has evolved? Are there things that you like to do to actively help your confidence? I feel like there's some things I have in mind. Like, I know actually getting ready for the day helps my confidence, like putting myself together. Making sure that I'm doing things that I'm proud of and excited about helps me feel more confident. Showing up good in my relationships, so I can always fall back on the fact that I'm a good person and I treat people well, even if they don't treat me well.
I feel like it's really interesting how confidence has, it's very like, the reason why I think it's cool to incorporate it with comparison or just other people in general is because I feel like I would have, and probably nobody would have any confidence problems at all if they were the only person in the world.
Right. Oh. uh
Oh, sorry. Am I back? I got a phone call.
oh, your screen went black. I was like,
I
uh-oh.
know. I was like, oh shoot, I need to put my phone on do not disturb. But I think that yeah, if you're the only person in the world, like being able, like you wouldn't have any confidence problems at all because you're not thinking about it, you're not looking at anybody else, and it's other people are the problem, is what I'm trying to say. I'm just kidding. But for real, like just seeing other people, it goes back to the first topic we were talking about with like life in our 20s and we talked about content creation and comparison and stuff like that, like how not getting caught up in the views or seeing people make videos about making six figures at 20 and stuff like that, like because there's more to it than just physical. And so being like comparing yourself to other people in any aspect of life is gonna set you up for failure, because I think there's a fine line between motivation and then like hating yourself because you're not reaching certain goals that you want to because someone else is. So I think being able to recognize that like everyone has different experiences and everybody is on this earth with different what's the word, like everyone is in this world just based on luck and what you get, what your family has, what opportunities you have, and all that stuff looks different for every single person. So just because they're the same age as you, they live in the same city as you, whatever, same country, that doesn't mean that you're meant to be in the same spot, because there's so many factors that tie into that. Snaps.
I totally agree. And yeah, what's interesting is that like confidence can change so much based on your environment. So like I feel like it's a lot easier to be confident when you're alone, right? Like when you're in your own space, you're comfortable, whatever, you might feel great. And then you might go into a specific environment with people who intimidate you. And suddenly all of that progress feels like it went out the window. Like this is something I've been experiencing a lot lately and I'm trying to work on, is like when I'm in a group where I feel like people are cooler than me or more impressive than me, suddenly I'm shrinking and I'm no longer showing myself. I no longer feel comfortable. So that's something I'm personally trying to work on. Thanks for being so real and vulnerable. Aw, that's so sweet. Yes, of course. I've definitely struggled with confidence much of my life. I grew up feeling so insecure. It's definitely something I've worked on so much and have a much better mindset now. That's amazing. We love that.
I love the growth. It can be hard, honestly, like getting out of the mindset of like, I'm not gonna say like hating yourself, but like picking yourself apart so much where it gets to like such an unhealthy like thing. And like even looking back at old pictures of me, I'm like, why was I so mean to her? Like she's so beautiful and smart and kind and capable of so much, and like it's so weird. And I feel like even maybe now the things that I nitpick for myself, in a couple of years I'll be like, why am I doing that? You're so kind, so beautiful, so smart, so capable, like the same thing. And I think it's sucks that in like hindsight we'll think about stuff like that, but in the present it can be hard and we'll just be so mean to ourselves. And like if I ever heard, like if I was looking at younger me and I saw people making fun of her or whatever, I would be like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like why are you being so mean? Like I wouldn't tolerate that, but then like it would be just an echo of what I said to myself. So the hypocrisy.
It's a great point. We're a lot crueler to ourselves than we would ever be to other people. Yeah.
Honestly.
True. And I do think sometimes it can help to look at yourself like your younger self, and it helps you be kinder to yourself when you're like, this is the same person that I'm seeing in these young photos that was just sweet and innocent and just trying her best. And like we're still those people, right? We've grown up, but like at the end of the day we're all just like wanting of love and appreciation and the same things. So yeah,
I totally agree. We're very we're kinder to ourselves in the past, but not current us, which sucks. But honestly, it's like something of the things that I think if you like keep going at it and you catch yourself being mean to yourself and just pivot and say something nice about yourself, I think the habit will stick and all of that. But I don't know if anybody had any topic suggestions, but this will be the last topic if nobody has any for us to chat about.
If anyone has any questions, otherwise we'll wrap up. Yes,
Final
giving
call.
ourselves grace. We love it. Also,
Yeah.
hi, Jasmine. I didn't know you were here. Welcome.
Hey,
or
girl.
if you've been here, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Yeah. This has been so nice, guys. It was so sweet getting a chance to just like chat in a very cozy, casual format about all these topics. So
I had so
really,
much fun.
yeah, thank you, Amina,
I
for
felt like I was nervous because I was like, oh, I wonder if anyone would want to show up. Will anybody want to have anything to say? And so the fact that so many of you guys had like really interesting perspectives on the different topics was so nice and definitely made me confident for maybe doing another one in the future if you guys would like. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I totally agree. Maybe we'll do another installment like in a month or so, or
Yeah. After
cool.
the holiday season, but
Yeah. Which happy holidays, guys. I hope you guys all have an amazing holidays, whatever you're celebrating, and really excited for the new year.
whoop, whoop. Do you guys have? We have so many content creator people here. So if you want to drop what you have planned for the next year, what you want to accomplish for the next year regarding content creation, because last week we did a goal setting one, but I would love to know in terms of content what you guys planned and stuff like that.
That'd be cool.
Goals.
Thanks for joining, Hannah. Glad you enjoyed it. We love that.
That's super fun.
I love seeing people that we recognize from our comments in
know.
live streams. It's so exciting.
That's like the best part of like having a YouTube channel is like building community and seeing the same people.
Yeah, I agree. Especially so many people that are so aligned with us. Like I feel like I related to so many people's perspectives and like we share a lot of values and stuff. So yeah.
It makes sense if they watch the videos. So glad that we can talk in person and just know how much we have in common.
Yeah, we love it. All right. Shall we wrap her up?
I think so. Thank you guys so much for watching and being here. We're probably going to do another one at some point. So we'll let you know in a community tab when that happens. But yeah. Ooh, content goal for 2024. Have fun and keeping good. Everything will fall into place. Absolutely. I love the mentality that what will be, what's meant to happen will happen, and all that. So good luck with your goals.
Yes.
For 24.
Trusting the process. We love it. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining.
Bye. Thank you.